Hey YouTube. I think this video is going to focus primarily on Cronaswap today. Why is that? It's because I am paying a lot of attention to it because I feel like maybe I've made a terrible mistake. And I want to talk about it in case anyone's in the same boat. I'm kind of joking about that. It's still very early in Cronaswap. Um, I may have mentioned it in my other videos. I'm allocated in Cronaswap and VVS Finance, but I did go heavier on Cronaswap. I've been adjusting position sizes, mainly just by buying more when I'm down, which has been painful. But I would say I'm about 50-50 exposed now between the two of them. And I just wanted, like I said, I just wanted to talk about some of my thoughts here. So this is the Krona price chart here, and I guess it looks like pretty bad. You know, the 11th of November to today, the 17th of December, we're talking about almost a month of price action. And you can see it hit a high of about almost $8 here, and then kind of crashed down and bled out to where we are now, around 56 cents. So I bought in my first purchase. I just wanted to get something. I knew it was going to be lower eventually, but I think I got in around the $3 mark for my initial buy, and I averaged down again somewhere around the 150. Figuring that was probably a good bottom for the short term at least, and it wasn't. And then I think I averaged down again at around 75 cents, and here we are today. Yesterday was just crazy red. We're at around 56 cents. So I'm trying to think about if I want to average down more. I am starting to run out of capital, and I could move some things around. It's not ideal position, but I'm starting to try to think about, do I want to average down, keep averaging down, or where do I think the project's going? Because obviously, if you have faith in the project, where you think it's a good project, you think it's going to see success, then of course you want to average down. That's not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor. But yeah, I mean, if in a year, it even takes a year, if in a year we're seeing all-time highs, $20, then 56 cents looks like a steal. But is it going to recover, or is it going to just bleed down to zero? That's the question, right? Because these are just really high risk plays, right? And when it starts, some of the things I think about when I think, well, what do I think about this project is the community. You know, I'm following their Discord, their Twitter, looking at how much engagement they have with the community, what the developers are doing to stay relevant, because this is a very competitive space. And when I look at, like, they have about half the number of followers that VVS does, and that's a big lead VVS has, and obviously that's because CDC has endorsed VVS, integrated them into their platforms. That's kind of the obvious front runner right now. And you know, when I initially started investing in these things, I actually didn't think that was going to happen for VVS. So I don't know. I forget what it was actually at this point, what I liked so much about Cronaswap, but I just favored them, so I went heavier on them. Now I am a little heavier on VVS, and I think that's going to do well, because I just don't see crypto.com integrating with VVS so heavily at this point and letting them do something like a rug pull or drop the ball or something like that. I mean, their reputation's on the line there, so I think VVS is a fairly everything's risky, but I think VVS is a fairly good play to keep averaging down if I'm down, which I am. Because and then that's a good point. The broader movements in everything that I'm looking at is going to be dependent on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's bleeding, then everything else is going to too, which is happening. So you can't just look at it by itself and say, well, we're down. What's going on? It's, well, if Bitcoin's down, we're going to be down. But when you look at, there was a day where Bitcoin was recovering and we were still bleeding. Everything else was kind of on a little bit of a bounce after Papa Powell made his announcements, and Chrono was still bleeding. So that was a little concerning, because when it's uncorrelated like that and it's bleeding for no reason, no apparent reason that I could find, that's one of the things that I look at. That's a little worrisome to me. That was my first, okay, what's going on here? There is a roadmap for Crona. The developers seem like they are trying their best, but I think they are a smaller team, and there are some glitches with the interface that I'm not sure if they're even being addressed or not. It's a little bit annoying, but it seems to lose connection with MetaMask, and there are some errors with transactions here and there. But we'll see. It's not all doom and gloom for Cronaswap. I mean, if they do things right, they can turn things around. There's definitely space for new investments to come in. The whole Crona ecosphere is so new. Even getting a lead from VVS, I mean, I can see it. Even if in the long run, like 5 years, 10 years, it's only one that wins. There can only be one, maybe, kind of scenario. I'm not necessarily in this for 5 to 10 years, or that's not necessarily my plan. I mean, I'm looking for just a short term, maybe get some degen returns and then I'm out, and maybe I'm just holding on to the Cro for the long term, which is 5-10 years or whatever. And maybe not even that. I don't know. I mean, I really like CDC. I do. It's a long-term altcoin for me, but no altcoin is going to compare to Bitcoin. So that's the thing I think I'm holding forever, obviously. But if crypto.com goes to where I think it's going, which is crazy high, competitor with Binance, I might sell quite a bit of it. I'll hold on to enough to maybe keep that Obsidian Black card and get the staking rewards from that. Maybe a little bit more to play with here and there. But if I've met my price target, I'm going to make it Bitcoin. I don't think there's, it just starts to become the risk to reward of holding that. How much more upside do you think there is left in it versus, what could go terribly wrong? That's just I'm rambling at this point. So let me get into maybe a little bit of the hopium that's still left on the table. Again, this price chart here looks terrible. Where's the bottom? I don't know. You zoom in a little bit, it still looks like we really haven't found a huge, support. Well, there's no price action. That's why it's hard to tell where the bottom is. There's no real level of support. So who's to say? I don't know. Yeah. Where's the bottom? I don't know. But let's look at some other popular coins that are in the same space. And this is Sushi Swap. I think all of these coins pretty much trend to zero because of their inflation. The trick is if they can outpace the inflation with how popular they are and how much utility they provide, right? And how much they can entice people to hold them and buy them. So if you look at something like Sushi, this is their their entire price history here. But like, look at the first, I don't know, couple months. Price chart kind of looks the same. You know, there's the whole initial volatility here where price action just has to get established, and then it bleeds out into, like, you know, it went to a high above $8, bleeds to a low of what, 63 cents, somewhere around there. I mean, that's almost actually identical price action, above 8, 60 cents. Looks like it's going to die. You know, this is a couple months, and like I said, you know, realistically with Cronaswap, we're at the 29-day mark. So, you know, in right here, like, let's say we're right here. If this feels painful to hold, you think you've lost all your money. Maybe you have. You might be right, but you know, if you zoom out, this is possible if, you know, if it finds adoption and utility, and, you know, then it goes up to a high of $23, somewhere around there. And it came back down, and it looks like it's bleeding. This looks bad again. You know, it's right back down to $5. You know, so, like, you know, you can still, just like anything, if you buy the top and sell around here, you're still down. But if we're here around 63 cents and you hold to, let's say you miss all of these tops because you're a terrible investor. Well, that's not true. Nobody can sell tops perfectly. But, like, you know, if you buy in at 60 cents and you're at $23, I think at some point along the ride, you really should have thought about taking profits somewhere. But let's say you held the whole thing and then you're at $5, you're still up if you've averaged, you know. So, like, you know, there's hope there. And then, you know, like Uniswap, probably the most popular one out there. This is their chart. Kind of looks ugly too. Let's zoom in on the beginning. You know, this is the first month and a half, 2 months of their price action. Kind of looks the same. A lot of volatility, goes up, bleeds down. How long does that go for? You know, and then they kind of starts recovering here. You know, sees a high of $42, $3, and then goes to 14. I mean, even if you bought the absolute peak, $7 here at the beginning, and you feel like an idiot when it goes down to under 2 as a low, somewhere around there, you've still more than doubled your, oh, what is that? 14, 2 to 4. Oh, so you still 7x your money, even if you've missed every opportunity to sell along the way. That's Uniswap. PancakeSwap. Boy, that looks even better. Look at that. That's like a flat line in the beginning. What's I don't know if I cut the whole thing. All right. This actually looks a little bit better. They didn't suffer a long bleed, it looks like. But it's kind of the same thing. You know, it's volatility here, bleeds out. I don't even know. I mean, yeah. This one actually looks pretty good for that. And you can ride that train, you know, from what, 30 cents, 20 cents, 20 cents, and then it hits $42. And I'm not saying that Krona is going to do the same thing. I'm not saying like we're at 50 cents now and we're going to hit $40. I'm not saying we won't either. But I'm saying there's the possibility. It's just Krona Cronaswap has to develop their project, and it has to find a community that wants to use it. And generally, it's when people think they can make money with it. That's what honestly, what's it all boil down to is if there's a way to make money, if there's a way to make more money with it than anything else, is how they're going to find adoption. And then once they get that crowd, they can find some sort of consumer loyalty, I suppose. They can fine-tune some knobs, and just try to retain who they have, and I don't know. They don't need to necessarily do everything perfectly, but they have to do enough the right way to get people to use them. That's the short and sweet of it. That's a TLDR. So, in the meantime, because you are seeing such high interest rates, if you're farming with it, if you're staking with it, it's possible you can still make quite a bit of money, even if you're down. I'm not gonna lie, I'm down a lot of money on this one so far. My unrealized losses are pretty heavy. I think somewhere around 5 figures right now. So, but that's unrealized loss. Like I said, it could go down to 0. It could be even more. But that's the nature of investing. You do your due diligence, and if you think you believe in the project, and if you think they're going to do things right, then this is what you hold through. This is what this is when people who don't have confidence in it will sell, and people who do will hold, and then we'll see who's right. Hopefully, you're not on the wrong side of things, but the market has a funny way of making everybody feel like a chump. So, good luck if anybody is in this project. Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. Honestly, I'm not just saying this for engagement with the algorithm. I actually do want some feedback. Like I said, part of the things I do is I want to see what communities think about certain projects, and I'm in the Discord and the Twitter and everything like that. But this space is so new, there isn't much out there. So if you're watching this and you're in this space, let me know. What do you think about VVS? What do you think about Cronaswap? What do you think about Cronaswap? Which one? Do you think there can only be one? Do you think they can all kind of be successful? Are you down on any of them? Are you up on any of them? Honestly, let me know. I'm looking for feedback on this one because, like I said, I am kind of starting to get a shaky feeling. The Cronaswap team, I don't want to say they're overwhelmed, but they have a lot of work to do. That's pretty evident. They got a lot of work to do to catch up to VVS. And like I said, I'm debating whether or not I'm averaging down now. So, yep. Okay. That's it. This was a long one. Good on you if you watched the whole thing.